Next, from Chicago, Governor Rauner holds a press conference alongside several Chicago area residents as they express the need for lower property taxes in Cook County. This runs about 30 minutes.
Good morning. Thank you all for joining us. Today we're talking about one of the biggest challenges, biggest problems we face in Illinois and what we're going to do to fix it. And that is the unfair, broken property tax system in the state of Illinois, the unfair, way too high property taxes on our homeowners and our small business owners, especially here in the south suburbs from the city of Chicago. Property taxes are through the roof here. They are dramatically higher here in the south suburbs than they are in the northern suburbs or in other parts of Cook County, dramatically higher here than they are in the rest of the state of Illinois. It's unfair, it is unjust, and it's pushing families out. Families can't even afford to stay in their homes anymore here in the south suburbs, and small business owners can't stay in business, and it's forcing small businesses to shut their doors and to leave the south suburbs, taking economic opportunity away from the residents here and moving to places like Indiana, where the property taxes are 1/4 of what they are here, moving to places like Tennessee or Texas or Wisconsin, where the property taxes are lower. We've got to change the system. Our system is broken because it's full of conflicts of interest, corruption, abuse. Our system in Cook County is rigged against taxpayers and homeowners, and it's discriminatory. It hurts families in the south suburbs disproportionately. Those families, those small businesses that can at least afford to pay high property taxes have the highest property taxes in America right here. I'm going to ask a few of them to come and tell you their stories. I just have been meeting with them over the last hour. I've met with several dozen residents and small business owners, homeowners here in the south suburbs, listening to their stories. I want their stories to get out, to show how unjust, unfair, and broken our property tax system is, so we can put pressure on these politicians who've been in power for years to change the system, bring down our property taxes so our families can afford to live here and so businesses can afford to invest here and grow more good jobs in the neighborhoods here in the south suburbs and around Illinois. That's what today's about. I'll turn it over to some of the folks that we visited with, and maybe, I don't know, Charles, maybe you start off, introduce a couple, then.
Sure. I just wanted to say that this is really weird to be here looking at you guys, by the way. But since I retired last year, you know, I've taken on a new role as a journalist, but trying to provide some perspective on what's happening to black people in this region. That's my focus. That's been my focus for the past year. And this issue, property taxes, particularly in the south suburbs, keep in mind that more black people now live outside the city than in the city. This issue is, to me, more compelling than even the issue of violence in the city, because this is our black middle class. These are our homeowners. These are the upwardly mobile black people in the region. And they are being unfairly, or there is a racist outcome to the property tax system. And this is something that I have been railing about for the past year. They have to have some kind of relief, because if we can't save black homeowners, who can we save? Their homes are underwater. Many are paying more in property taxes than they are paying in principal and interest on their homes. And they are losing their homes. God forbid what might happen if there should be another deep recession as we had 10 years ago. We have several homeowners here who can tell you the stories. They'll give you the numbers. And many of you are homeowners, and you'll know that these numbers are completely out of whack. Charles, give us the numbers. How much is your house worth in Dalton? How much are you paying in property taxes? Come to the microphone.
My house is worth Charles Higgins.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Charles. Spell your last name, Charles?
Higgins. And I live in Dalton. My house. It's a single family home, tri-level. Well, they say my house is appraised now at $48,000, and I pay $4,800 a year in taxes. Ridiculous.
He's paying 10%,
ridiculous.
and that is not unusual. 10% of home value.
I have like 3 abandoned houses on my block. People are walking away from their homes, and it's just real ridiculous. That's all I have to say.
Sir, maybe you could step forward.
Okay. I can win this up. My name is Adam Winston. I live over in the village of Glenwood. Winston. Glenwood. I live in the village of Glenwood. So my wife and I, we purchased a home over in the village of Glenwood 10 years ago or so. And at the time, we purchased a house for $170,000. Right now, our house is being appraised at $120,000, and our taxes are about $8,000 a year. So that's kind of ridiculous. It has forced my wife and I to make some tough decisions about how we're going to move forward. It's made us to make some tough decisions about the education, how we look at communities, so on and so forth. So this is a real issue because we can't even sell the house, to be honest with you. We can't even, we thought about short selling it. We thought about some other things. In fact, this morning, before I actually got here, my wife says, hey, well, you're a politician, but I want out of this town. And that should not be a choice that any family has to make if they want to be true to a community that they're in and build and work towards growing their community in the right direction. So this tax issue has become a serious issue in the Southland area. Hopefully we'll shine some more light on this issue, and hopefully we'll get more people behind it because it's just too important. What we pay in taxes, we're not getting in service. Not getting in education. We got tax bills out the roof with the water prices. So we got some real hurdles ahead of us, and hopefully people start addressing it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Christine Wilson, and I'm a resident of the village of Flossmoor. Sure, it's Christine. Last name is Wilson, Wilson. I've been a resident for the village of Flossmoor since 2011. I initially purchased my home at $257,000. I have recently had my home appraised by an insurance rep for insurance purposes, appraised for $190,000, but the Cook County Assessor's Office have appraised my home for between $290,000 and $300,000, which we know that's not the case at all. It's ridiculous that our taxes are consistently going up with no knowledge of where this money is going to, but the South suburbs, we are consistently being, taxes are going up, and we're becoming a ghost town. Businesses are closing, residents are leaving. And it's sad that we work hard to live out here, but most of our money is going into taxes and not even to the price of the home in our mortgage. So with that being said, something needs to be done. And Governor Rauner, I greatly appreciate you coming out today, listening and talking to us and wanting to help the residents of the South suburban communities as well as the South side of Chicago.
Christine, the $190,000 house, what is the tax bill?
My tax bill is $12,698. It went up from $8,900.
Thank you, Christine. I've met with dozens of homeowners and small business owners, dozens of homeowners and small business owners that have similar stories. It is unfair, it is unsustainable, it is unjust. We have to change the system, and we need your help to get the message out, to put pressure on the elected officials who've created this mess over many, many years. This is not a problem of the last 2 or 3 years. This goes back 10 years, 20 years. It's part of the reason that Illinois has had 120,000 people move to Indiana over the last 10 years. People are being forced from their homes. They're going to more affordable places to live where the property taxes are lower and there's more jobs. And job creators are going to the locations where they can afford to build their businesses where the property taxes are lower. We have to change the system. I am recommending that we take 4 steps to fix the problem. Let me talk about the 4 steps that I'm recommending. First of all, I call again as I have, Joe Barrios should step down as Cook County Assessor. He has not done his job. He has not given fair valuations to the homes and the small businesses in Cook County. I've heard directly from the residents. I've seen the numbers. Cook County Assessor's Office has not given fair valuations. They haven't done their job. The valuations that Cook County has put on these properties has nothing to do with reality. It does not reflect the true value of the homes, and it has forced individuals, forced small business owners and homeowners to have to try to go fight to get the truth. They have to fight. They have to go hire an attorney to go get the truth. And they have to get in a fight with the Cook County's Assessor's Office. And Cook County Assessor is, in effect, guiding homeowners to law firms, pushing them, forcing them to hire law firms to fight the unfair property tax burden. He's in cahoots, in effect. It's a collaboration between the Cook County Assessor's Office and those property tax appeal law firms that make their money from fighting and reducing the property tax burden. It's a rigged system, and it's set up to benefit the wealthy and the politically connected, the powerful who have clout, who know which law firm to use, which process to use to get their tax burden down. Your average homeowner here doesn't have clout. They don't have a lot of money. They can't pay a law firm a lot of money to go fight. Who's getting the good deals are the insiders and the people with clout downtown and in other parts of Cook County. Residents here, they have to pay higher property taxes because in other parts of Cook County, they're using their clout to get their property taxes down. The system is broken and unjust. Joe Barrios is partly responsible for this, along with Speaker Madigan. We need them to change, and the first way to do it, Joe Barrios should step down, number one. Number two, we are introducing, when the General Assembly comes back to Springfield, when the General Assembly comes back, I'm introducing new legislation. We are going to introduce a bill that says it's illegal for a member of the General Assembly to make money and have, in the property tax appeals business, to have a law firm that they are a partner in, that they make money from, that does property tax appeals. It's a conflict of interest. No one who sets tax policy, no one who has an influence to increase taxes on one hand, should be in a position where they financially benefit from fighting about property taxes and trying to get them reduced on the other hand. It's a conflict of interest. It is unfair. It's got to end. And we're going to introduce legislation to make it illegal for anyone in the General Assembly to also be in the property tax appeals business. We do the same thing already for workers' comp claims. We don't let legislators argue cases for workers' comp. We also don't let legislators argue cases in the Court of Claims. We should do the same thing for property tax appeals. It's a conflict of interest. It's unethical. It's immoral. We should also make it illegal. So that's the second step. Third step, I'm not going to wait for the General Assembly. I want to take action immediately. We're going to push for that bill. But in the meantime, while we're waiting for that bill to pass, I'm signing an executive order immediately that says our Illinois State Tax Appeals Board will no longer allow legislators to argue cases in front of our Illinois State Tax Appeals Board. We got to end this right now. I can do that unilaterally as governor. We're going to have an executive order, and we will prohibit our Illinois State Tax Board of Appeals from hearing cases brought by legislators or where legislators are participating in the legal arguments, making money from the process. Legislators should not be making money on the side from this tax appeal problem and high property taxes. That's the third thing that we're doing. And then fourth, and critically importantly, again, as I have every year as governor, I will introduce legislation to lower property taxes through a simple voter referendum process, empower local residents to freeze their property taxes if they choose to, and lower them through a simple voter referendum process so the people here in Southern Cook County, in our residences, if they want to lower their property taxes, they can do it by a simple vote, referendum, freeze taxes, lower them, and put pressure on the system, Barrios and his allies, to make the system fair. Freeze the taxes, don't let them take it up anymore. I'll introduce that bill again, as I have every year as governor, and encourage the General Assembly to do it. Together, if we keep pressure on our elected officials to change the system, we can bring down the property tax burden, allow our families to stay in their homes. They love our communities. We love our communities where we live. We want them to be great. We want to be able to stay and live in these homes, in our homes around the state. Key to that, we need more businesses to come. We need to bring more businesses back to the south suburbs. And I've talked to many companies who would love to come to the south suburbs. Great hardworking people here, great location, great access to transportation, great access to Chicago, great access to the rest of the Midwest. Companies would love to come to the south suburbs here, but the property taxes keep them out and the regulations keep them out. Let's change the system and we'll quickly grow more jobs, more economic opportunity. But it starts with addressing the property tax burden. Together, let's get them down. And that's what we're advocate. With that, I'll turn it open to any questions for myself or any of the other participants.
The mayor of Chicago, again yesterday, declined to address the issue of real estate in the city that's not as highly assessed or valued as some think it should.
Well, I saw that report. I'm troubled that the mayor won't address this. This is all part of the same system. This is part of Joe Barrios, along with other elected politicians, the speaker and other aldermen, et cetera, who have clients downtown who pay them a lot of money, retainers as well as percentage reductions, who pay a lot of money to get their property taxes low downtown. And when property taxes are low downtown for the politically connected and the people with clout, that forces them up in the other parts of Cook County. So southern Cook County goes up because downtown Chicago goes down because that's where they're politically connected.
About the executive order, it sounds like this would prevent lawyers who are legislators from arguing cases in court. Does that include law firms, like lawyers from law firms that are owned by legislators?
Yeah, we're gonna parse out. They can't make money through their law firm for their partnership interest that comes from property tax appeals.
So their firm could still argue the case. It's just that they wouldn't be able to.
They're prohibited from any of their partnership interests making money from that, and you'll see it in the language. I'm sorry. We're signing the executive order right in the next couple days.
In the next couple days, so like we won't receive the language today.
Well, we might have. I think we've got drafts. We'll have it to you very quickly.
And do you believe it'll hold up to a court challenge? Because it sounds like something they would fight.
I absolutely believe this is clearly unethical. This is clearly unethical. It's clearly a conflict of interest that we've tolerated in Illinois for a long time. We've dealt with this. We don't let legislators argue cases in workers' comp. But legislators set workers' comp policy. Why do we let legislators argue cases around property taxes when they set tax policy? It's unethical, clearly unethical. We should make it illegal.
This could be seen as a dig at Mike Madigan in particular, who has been always on your radar for criticism.
Well, what it is trying to change a broken system. Our system is fundamentally broken. It's fundamentally corrupt. This is corruption at its core. This is part of the core corruption of the state of Illinois that's been going on for decades. And we've got to end it. And this is a major step to help end it.
Specifically to an earlier question about law firms. So I would assume Madigan and Getzendatter do a lot of this work that you're talking about. So would Madigan and Getzendatter, the law firm, be prohibited, or would only Madigan?
Madigan would be prohibited, or any partner in a law firm would be prohibited himself or herself, but also they could not make money from their law firm, from the business part that makes money from that.
Madigan couldn't make the money, or could Getzendatter?
If Madigan could not, because Madigan's a legislator.
So the firm could argue, but that particular partner who's the lawmaker could not personally profit.
That's correct. Yes, and they have those in partnerships. Partnerships have accounts and allocations of income.
You know, Governor, the Illinois Campaign for Political Reform put out an assessment about the Cook County property tax system. It said lack of oversight that is totally out of sync with California, New York, everywhere else really. But they included that the Department of Revenue does have more authority to provide oversight to county assessors, including in Cook County, but doesn't use it currently.
I'd have to see what they're referring to.
They say that the Cook County, the Department of Revenue could include oversight of assessors, as happens in other states, but that is practice is not being used. That the Department of Revenue lets county assessors, including in Cook County, do what they want without going in and using authority to provide any checks on the assessing and the appeals process.
Okay.
Is the Department of Revenue not doing enough, exercising its authority? Why not go that route?
Well, we'll explore every route to fixing this system. I have been talking about this and taking action on this, introducing legislation to get property taxes reduced every year, every session that I've been governor. And we will leave no stone unturned. If there's options that other people know about, that we can bring the state to put pressure on the Cook County system, which is so corrupt, we'll use every route. I know that we can do legislation to make it illegal, not just unethical, to engage in the conflict of interest. It's not debatable that this is a conflict of interest. It's not debatable. What we have to determine is, as people of Illinois, whether we're going to take it from being unethical to illegal. And I believe we've got to do that. Oh, I think very quickly, when we change the system and we have somebody who's honest in the assessor's office, it's not rigged anymore, and we don't have politicians who are making money from the process. It's just run with integrity. Cook County is completely different. I don't know of any other county in America that has the convoluted, complex structure. It's all designed. It's complex, and the appraisal itself by the Cook County's assessor office is designed not to reflect reality. Specifically, too low downtown, too high here, to force people to use law firms. It's designed to be complex, convoluted, to force people to use law firms so the system can be milked by elected officials. That's the corruption, and that's what we've got to end.
How too would a property tax raise, and we've addressed this before, but that freezes things where they're at. So people that are complaining.
It's not just a freeze, it's control the levy. So we could freeze them to shock the system. They need to stop rising, but the real answer is local control of the property tax levy, and then give the mayors in every community the ability to control their costs. Get the mandates from Springfield off. Give local control to elected officials, local control to residents, the homeowners directly themselves. Get Springfield out with the mandates. And we've introduced that legislation every year, and we'll do it again.
So obviously, a lot of property tax money goes to support local schools. The State Board of Education yesterday asked for double what the state is currently contributing to schools. If you're wanting less property taxes, do you support the State Board of State Board of Education's request?
I'll look at what the ISB has requested. I think they've requested very, very large numbers every year. I became governor to help make the best schools in America in every community. In the prior 10 years to my becoming governor, the majority in the General Assembly cut school funding from the state 4 times in the prior 10 years. Every year that I've been governor, I've recommended more money from the state, and I'll recommend it again this year. I've established record funding for local schools from the state, so we could help fund the schools here in the south suburbs. And so the south suburbs don't have to rely so much on their own property taxes. They get the state to pay more. And I pushed to change the funding formula so communities that have less property tax wealth, families that don't make as much money, can get even more money from the state. I'm very proud of that. My administration fought for that new funding bill, and it's excellent progress to help address that problem.
Governor, if property taxes are driving people out of the state, won't the GOP tax plan, which limits deductibility of property taxes, like for this woman from Flossmoor who's paying $12,000 a year, won't that force other residents like her to leave the state as well?
It puts pressures on those who itemize their deductions. Most people do not itemize, but those who itemize their deductions now will have to not to be able to deduct from their income, federal income taxes, their local property taxes, sales tax, state income tax. Puts pressure. That's one of the many reasons it's going to put pressure on states like Illinois that have a broken system, that have too high taxes. Fiscal irresponsibility puts pressure on us to change. All the more pressure to implement the changes that I've been recommending for the last 3 years. Bring down the property taxes, roll back the income tax hike from July, and grow our economy, so grow the tax base to get taxes up rather than increase the tax rates on the residents here in the south suburbs and around the state. She's trying, and then I'll do.
In this year, much of that increase was made possible by a tax increase that you oppose and you want to roll back. So how can the state roll back the tax increases currently paying for the extra money for education and also reduce property taxes and still cover the education costs that you say you want to fund?
The simple answer: through reforms. We waste money in government. We spend money that we shouldn't spend. We didn't have to put in an income tax hike to fund schools more. The money is there. If we reform our cost of government, we'd have the money to fund our schools. We'd have the money for human services. Our government is very inefficient. We spend money on things that benefit insiders to government that don't benefit the people. If we made government responsive and working for the people, we'd have the money to put into schools, and we'd have more money to put into our human services.
Well, Governor, you tried to get through property tax reform last year, and before that. What makes you think there's going to be the political impetus to get it done now?
You know, persistence is the key to success in every important endeavor. When we have the people rising together, this is not a partisan issue. This is not about Democrats versus Republicans. This is about a broken system. When the people rise together with their voice and have their voice heard, we'll change the system. And I believe this spring, we will begin to get laws passed that will actually fix this system. And I'm asking everyone around the state, let's rise together and lower our property tax burden. We have some of the highest property taxes in America, especially here in the south suburbs. Let's get our voices heard and bring down our property taxes.
Governor, Amazon made the cut for the top 20.
Questions.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Governor, Chicago made the cut for the top 20 for Amazon. Can you speak to, first of all, when we're going to learn more exactly about what's in that offering? Secondly, are you going to be making similar offerings to Google and Apple now as they're looking to expand? And thirdly, what's next for Amazon? What are the last conversations you've had with them? What are the next conversations that you will have with them to try and get to the next level?
The opportunity to bring Amazon here for their second headquarters, I think, is very exciting. Can drive major economic growth here in the state of Illinois. I believe that we in Illinois have a very compelling case to make. We have a very attractive offer to Amazon, and it's not purely about tax incentives. It's about everything we offer here. We've got great people here to work for Amazon and to support the other businesses that Amazon needs to support. We've got hardworking people. Great location here, the heart of America. Great transportation network. Great education system. Great universities. Expanding the U of I and expanding their campus helps. We've got a compelling case. And great public transit, much better public transportation than many other communities. So we have what Amazon's looking for. But we've got to keep in mind, Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, knows how bad taxes are and has advocated. The state of Washington, where they're coming from, does not have an income tax. They don't have any income tax. And the president of Amazon led the lobbying effort to make sure they kept no income tax. So what I think we'll have a better case to make to Amazon if we show that we're disciplined about our own taxes, that we work to keep our taxes low and help bring our taxes down. If we make progress in this will send a great message to Amazon that Illinois is not always just raising taxes with a corrupt system, that when they grow here and they bring their employees here and grow our economy, we won't put unfair taxes on them. That'll help us make the case. So I hope we can make these changes. It'll help us bring Amazon here.
Governor, why are you going after J.B. Pritzker so forcefully, even before the GOP primary, and what's the strategy behind this extraordinary 11-minute commercial?
Well, I'll just say the people of Illinois need to know the truth about the corruption in our state. That's what that's about.
And so, but why, I don't understand why you want to interfere, as he says, into the Democrats. Why wouldn't you wait to see who the winner is?
The people of Illinois need to know the truth about our corruption.
And that audio tape explains that?
Very clearly. And unedited, full tape, the truth needs to be known.
And what does that 11-minute tape show that you want the people to hear?
Have you seen it or heard it? It's pretty self-evident.
Well, but it's your commercial. Tell us. What does it demonstrate to the people of Illinois?
Everyone should watch it. The people of Illinois need to know the truth about the corruption in our state that's been tearing us apart for years.
But if there was true corruption here, why didn't the feds bring charges against Pritzker if they haven't?
You know, it shows how pathetic our system is, how broken. Anyone who would use an excuse and say, well, I did something immoral, unethical, disgusting, and self-dealing, but I didn't go to jail, so it's okay. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Last question. What was immoral to bring up to say, I'm interested in being the Illinois treasurer?
Watch the commercials. The truth needs to be known.
Why go in, I mean, I understand your argument about Pritzker, okay? Personally, I'd rather see the plumber commercial, but that was okay. The issue to me is, why focus on Pritzker when the primary's not over? Why are you focusing on Pritzker particularly?
The truth needs to be known about our corruption. Thanks very much, everybody. Thanks very much.
Amazon, just what's next?